The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Buckle up, folks. This week's second hour is headed your way. I'm John Lebang. We have a special treat for you this hour, ladies and gentlemen. Radio talk show host Kevin Holly will be joining us here in the second segment. We'll probably run through a whole gamut of questions for him. And if you haven't heard his show, this is a great time to get to know what is out there outside of the mainstream media. But before that, I thought we'd get to your phone calls. Maybe you want to make a comment on something we discussed in the first hour, or maybe something else is on your mind and you'd like to hear our opinion on it. Feel free to call us on that banger hotline. You can go to the website, www.jlebang.com. Let's go over to line 1 in Austin, Texas. AJ, what say you? Okay, thanks for your call. Looks like line 3 is coming from one of our affiliate stations out in Tampa, Florida, Bubba Army Radio. Cora, what say you? Well, from what I hear, FEMA will be there any day.
Sonny, I can't wait for that crap!
Why didn't you leave?
You know how long it would take for me to use my walker to get out of the way?
Didn't you have any family that could have came and got you?
All my kids are stupid! All they want was money and money and money! Not one of them want to help me with my Depends underwear, so I cut them all out of the will. Now they won't want to talk to me!
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Wait for FEMA. They'll be there any day.
Oh, you suck!
Thanks for your opinion and your call. Our next call coming in on line 2, all the way from Las Vegas, listening to us on our affiliate Radio Vegas Rocks. Tex, what say you?
Y'all was just here gambling and I heard your radio show and I wanted to make a comment.
And what did you want to comment about, sir?
Boy, you're crazier than my ex-wives.
How so?
You ain't never gonna get rid of them Democrats. They're there forever. Don't you know that, boy?
Well, I never said we're going to get rid of them.
They're too stupid to do it, boy. And why you gonna get rid of them Republicans? I'm a Republican.
Oh, you support those linguini-spined Republicans.
Are you calling me sissy?
No, I'm not calling you a sissy. I'm calling the people you vote into office sissies.
That's it. I'm not listening to your show no more.
Thanks for calling. Bye. Calling in on our Chicago affiliate, Peppa, listening in on 24.7 The Stream. What say you?
Oh, honeys, I think we can make it all better if we bring back President Obama.
I don't think so, Peppa. In fact, this is probably due to President Obama.
All the hate's on the other side, can't you tell? All they need is a good slap in the mouth.
And the hate's on the other side, right?
Yeah, we just beat them till they shut your mouth. Then we can be civil again.
I see.
And can I say one more thing?
Sure, why not?
That this is stupid. I think I'm gonna slap that bitch in the face with my big fat boobie next time I see her.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I challenge that bitch to a rematch.
You mean a rematch of the wrestling match we had a few years ago?
That's right. This time I'm gonna flatten her lips.
Well, I don't know if she's up for it.
I wasn't doubted. That little skanky hoe's ugly.
Okay, well, Ditzy, if you're listening, Pepper has issued a challenge to you. You feel free to call in and let us know if you accept the challenge.
And if you don't, you're just a chicken leg skinny hoe.
Okay, Peppa, thanks for your call. Our next call comes in from our affiliate, WRFN 1025. Henry, what say you?
John, they are talking about putting a global net around the planet made of machines that could stop the sun to help stop climate change.
I did see a headline on Earther about that, but I didn't really read it.
Apparently, there are several variations in the so-called solar geoengineering theme, but they all have the same end goal, using aerosols to blanket our atmosphere with reflective particles in order to quickly lower global temperatures.
Oh, I see. So they can't hide it anymore. So now they're sending out people to talk about these aerosols that they're going to put in the sky, even though they've been doing it for at least 15 years. This is so blatantly obvious. They can't hide it anymore. And all the people that were out there talking about the chemtrails and aerosols in the sky, and they were called crazy, and they were called nuts, including yours truly. Now it's becoming mainstream that's how they have to control the climate to make sure we don't get any strange, wacky climate change. Thank you, Henry, for your call.
My pleasure.
Can you believe this? So, what he's referring to is an article on the website Earther, where they're discussing machines that could darken the sun to stop climate change. And what they're talking about is sending up drones, sending up airplanes, other vehicles in the sky to lay aerosols to create artificial clouds that will then reduce the sun's effect on our climate, and that will be their solution to climate change. Even though once you start that, you can never stop because you're going to affect the environment's aerosols. Remember what in the 90s when aerosols were bad for the environment? Do you guys remember that? But not when the government does it. Not when the leaders and scientists all do these sort of things. Then it's okay. They're trying to save the planet. But you, with those aerosol cans, that was in the 80s or 90s where aerosols were bad. Don't use aerosols. Hurts the environment. Now they're going to use aerosols to fix the environment. Unbelievable. We got to take a quick break, folks. On the other side of this, we have our guest, Mr. Kevin Holly, joining us for a rousing discussion. Don't go anywhere now.
John will be right back right after this.
Yes, he will. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain, man.
Feel smarter yet? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the John Lebang Show. A great radio host from Florida. His name is Kevin Holly. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. I don't know if you should church me up that much, but yeah, no, I'm doing fantastic.
So before we get on, before I ask you the minor details, there's one pertinent question I have to ask you, brother. Are you wearing underwear?
I am indeed wearing underwear, but the underwear that I am wearing is the last clean pair that I had before I came up here to do the show with you tonight. So there's some holes in my underwear. You could call it holy, whatever you want to call it. Kevin Holy underwear, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I'm wearing them. I don't know if it counts, but they're on. The waistband is intact.
So now the world knows that both of us wear underwear.
Yes, this is true. I remember the last time we spoke. Man, there was underwear talk. I don't know why.
Yeah, I heard Shady had called your show randomly one night.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was Shady. Asking about you. Yeah, it was my girlfriend wanted to know what your underwear was. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was my 250th episode. And then Shady like pranked you one night or something. He can be real, he's shady. What can you say?
Hey, I don't take offense. I mean, do your thing, Jelly Bean. It's cool.
So now that we got that out of the way, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your show and what goes on there? Because it's 18 and over, so it's not PG-13 like the John Lebang show. You're more of a rated R show.
Oh man, I'm so glad you asked. I mean, I don't know how to put it into words, John. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like comedy meets celebrity. We like to do celebrity interviews. We interview. A big part of our show is supporting local artists, local musicians, local stand-up comedians, and just people like that. But we also work with a PR guy out in Los Angeles, so we do get some from time to time some actors, actresses, authors, people that direct and produce movies. So it's kind of a mix. But when we're not interviewing somebody, which usually the interviews aren't very long. It's usually about 3 hours of just dick and fart jokes for the most part.
Excuse me, this is Shady. Just for a minute, I want to ask you a question. Why the hell are you lowering yourself by coming on the John Lebang show?
Oh, wait a minute. This is the John Lebang? I thought this was the Steven Seagal show. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
I thought it was the John Lennon show.
Come on, Shady. I'm thinking John Lebang. I mean, dude. You have like 50 affiliates. How many internet radio stations, terrestrial radio stations, podcast affiliates do you have? It's like I can't even count them all.
Not 50. I'm close, but not 50. We're only on 40 in 5 countries. So we're doing it for a nobody that works out of his house here and just puts together the best thing he can possibly do as a one-man job here. One-man job. See, I thought you said it was a PG-13 show, John.
Calm your tits, man. I'm sorry. Did I say? Am I allowed to say tits? I don't even know.
We say boobies here.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. You can say titty witties. We don't care. Whatever you want.
I'm pretty sure that's what I said. Stop yelling at me, sir.
So how long you been doing this?
Oh, wow. This is our 4th year. In August, we started our 4th year. So, we've been going strong, and we do a 3-hour program every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and every once in a while, we'll do a remote. So there's a few extra shows here and there. There's some that I've deleted from the show reel that were just, older or more terrible, and I got to make room. I don't have enough money to pay for a 24/7 type station, that kind of thing, so but yeah, going on 4 years, man.
So who are your big influences in this thing?
Oh man, that's a really good question. When I started off, I didn't have really any. As a kid growing up in Chicago, you listen to The Loop and people like Mancow and even Morning Zoo type radio, but as I've been doing the show and learning more about who's out there and who's who and what's what. And, oh, man, there's so many. But off the top of my head, I like Jim Norton a lot. I like the Chip Chipperson podcast. that to me is hilarious. I like on the more political front, I like Shannon Burke. This guy, John Lebang, that I like, he's pretty cool.
He's a schmeckle.
No, man. For real though, there's so many different things that I listen to that it's almost a blur. What I really get off on lately though is the local stuff, man. I like being a part of the IRN and listening to the shows on there, like Spicoli, and he's been around for 15 years now, something like that. Guy was on PBS. You know what I mean? It's cool like that. But as far as like the more famous mainstream types, you always hear your Howard Sterns, and locally for me in Tampa, you got the Mike Calta show. I like Drew Garabo, but I would probably say comedians, man. Guys like Jimmy Norton make me laugh, and if I'm not laughing, I'm probably not going to be listening for the most part, unless there's some kind of political thing that I want to pay attention to. So for the most part, I like comics, man. I like listening to a little bit of Joe Rogan. It's kind of fun once in a while. I've never subscribed to anything like that. I'm not religious about watching or listening to programs like that, but it's fun. Every time I tune in, it's a good show, and so I don't know. I mean, influenced mostly by probably myself in the mirror. I don't know, man.
So, like, when you mentioned comedians, like, what about like Richard Pryor or like Red Fox? Do you like who's your big comedian people that you like grew up listening to that kind of pushed you in the direction of doing the kind of comedy you do?
That's another really good question. Now, I've never done stand-up, but, this is definitely a comedy-based show.
Well, don't you pee standing up? Are you one of those ones that sit down in the toilet and pee?
No, that's my co-host, Pat Shit Crazy, Pat Berge. He's the one who sits and pees, man. No, but Robin Williams. Okay, check this out. When I was like 19, 20 years old, a good 22 years ago, whatever it was, I used to work for Nielsen, the company that does the ratings.
Sure.
And, I was a low-level employee, like a telemarketer type, And I remember there was an old-time comedian that sat, like, in the cubicle next to me. And I didn't know who he was. I still don't remember his full name, but he was, like, some kind of guy that was, like, into the business. And we used to pass notes back and forth, like little girls, I know, right? For real, though. We would just draw, like, characters and little comics and stuff and just make each other laugh. And one day, out of the blue, he asked me, who's your favorite stand-up comedian? And I didn't know, like, if he was trying to test me to think, is this guy cool or not? And so I thought really hard about it for, like, 10, 15 seconds. And I said, Robin Williams. I don't know why, It just popped in my head. So maybe that style of animated, energetic, comedy is my thing, I guess. I like to laugh really hard. I like to make other people laugh. And that's what Robin did. So I don't know. Maybe he's my biggest comedic influence. I don't know. I like George Carlin. I'm kind of a mix between political humor and some of the silly stuff. You know what I mean? That slapstick, just like stuff that you wouldn't even think of, and then boom, it hits you,
He did a lot of voices and impersonation type stuff. Do you do any of that?
A little bit. I've been working on this character, Bob the Birder. And, Bob's he's a bird watcher, and he's from up north, like New England area, and he's kind of...
You mean he watches people choke the chicken?
He doesn't watch people choke their chickens, specifically little boys, Like, oh, hi, I'm Bob, and I like to watch little boys just running around. I take their pictures.
No, he likes little boys and their chicken.
No, boys, little boys. When they get trapped in the mall, and sometimes they fly in there, and you just kind of walk around and just watch those little boys just walking around. I don't know. Stuff like that. I mean, I could do some stuff, but I wouldn't say I'm an impressionist. I wouldn't say I'm even really funny, to be honest with you. I think this is quite serious.
No, well, and I like that about you. All the times I've tuned in for the show, it's been very entertaining. And sure, we all go off the deep end sometimes, but you seem to be very comfortable behind the mic. And I was wondering, like, who kind of like pointed you in the direction? Because we all have our little influences. What do you think of the big guys on mainstream radio, like the Rush Limbaughs and the Glenn Beckers and even the Alex Jones guy there, the weird, wacky conspiracy guy?
Oh, I know. It's so wacky. I think they really, in this day and age, kind of. I mean, of course, the guy's nutty. Whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know the guy, but I think it's unfair how he's been treated in the media, when other people on the other side are way more guilty of the fake news, or just as guilty. It's kind of ridiculous. But as far as those guys, yeah, I mean, Rush Limbaugh, I have a gold microphone. I purposely bought a gold microphone for my studio. You know what I mean? I really did. I like Rush.
The Maharashi.
But I don't know. I kind of like listening to AM talk radio.
Sure. How can you not like Rush if you can just skip past his political views, because he's just good at what he does?
Oh, he's perfect.
He's the best.
He's arguably the best. Absolutely, man. And everybody brings up Howard Stern.
Yeah, but that's a whole different genre, and he's might be the best there.
Yeah, well, probably. Yeah, it probably is. You know what I mean? Very influential, too. A lot of people try to do their internet shows, their podcasts, like Howard would. Every once in a while, you'll stumble across a show that's set up like that. And I'm kind of proud to say that ours is kind of like that. We do a 3-hour program with breaks, with interviews, with phoners, and we have live bands come into the studio. We rent the studio. We have a third-floor studio overlooking US 19 in beautiful downtown Newport Richey. And it's cool because when you have a guest show up in the studio to play a song and promote their album or talk about their comedy, they're looking out the window and they're watching the 6-lane highway out there. And it's kind of like, a special feeling like they're actually at they're participating in something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why we do it. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I've tailored the show around any kind of model like host like Stern or anything like that, but we definitely do have a structured program. It's somewhat, some kind of a structure to it. Where a lot of podcasts that you listen to or internet radio shows might be an hour or 35 minutes, and it's just somebody talking at a microphone. And no, man, we've got 5 mics in here, and we've got people coming and going the whole time, and we're doing games and just having a blast. You know what I mean? I've got a freaking taser in here. It's like a morning zoo, man.
That's what I found adds some good dimension to the show, is if you just don't sit here and have one person talking. And unfortunately, if you don't count Shady and all the other guys there, it is one guy behind the mic. So it's fun to have Shady and the other guys join in because it adds a little diversity, and then games like Drop It Like a Deuce and other things that I do really add to the show. So I understand where you're coming from.
Hey, can I tell you something?
What's that?
For somebody to go behind a microphone religiously or consistently, however you want to describe it, every day or every other day or every week, whatever you want to do, however you're doing it, for somebody to do it alone, okay? When there's been plenty of times for me personally where, like my friend Pat can't come in because he's riding a Harley and there's a freaking hurricane out there, And I'm like, dude, don't even make the trip. Just stay home, be safe, And so, okay, I'm going to be alone for 3 hours. When you can sit behind the microphone alone for 3 hours, you know what I mean? Or consistently do it every week by yourself, that takes balls of steel to be able to put out content, to be able to put out quality. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm putting out content or quality. I'm just saying for someone to do that, they have balls of steel. And to put in the time and the effort to do the show prep, to structure something. I mean, that it's not just somebody talking into their cell phone like the old podcast days, or having 3 guys sitting around a table with beer steins and an iPod or whatever it was back
like
then.
Blog Talk Radio and all that, those early days you're talking about?
Yeah, sort of, I guess. But, I think it takes a special person to build up the courage to go behind that microphone.
All the stupidity. When you're talking about John, it's stupidity.
Go easy, Shady. Come on, man. The guy's good. Have you seen his hair? It's beautiful. Come on.
It's long flowing locks. That's funny you say that, because just today I was driving home and I had my hair down out after work, and some guy starts beeping at me. So I just give him the wave, so he drives by, and then he sees the Mr. Goatee guy, a fat guy, looking at him like, "Hi, buddy."
Whoa. Pump the brakes.
I mean, that's like a bait and switch. It's awesome.
Dude, that's great. That's comedy right there. When you've got that in the back of your head and you see that every once in a while, you're like, hi. I love it.
Doesn't help him in the girl department, but whatever. If he can get some fat guy on the road to look at him, all the better. Now sit your butt down.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
And I promise you'll love it. Yes. I'd like to take a quick second here to tell you about our new sponsor, Quality One Painting. For interior and exterior painting needs, call Tom at Quality One, 313-982-2986. Tom will give you free estimates, senior discounts, and I can tell you from meeting the gentleman, he's one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet. So for a quality paint job with a professional attitude, call Tom at Quality One Painting. That's 313-982-2986. 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Now here's John.
So what have you been talking about on the show these past week? What's the big topics?
Well, this past week, I had a surprise. My old co-host Jaybird showed up unannounced, which was fantastic.
From Radio Vegas?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, he's not that famous. No. But he was one of the original members, and it brings me back to one of your first questions about, like, who influenced you or how'd you get started. And, excuse me.
Did you
I was
fall?
waiting tables. No, I didn't fart. I farted out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
Same difference.
Smells good. Yeah, pretty much. But no, he showed up. Okay. Jaybird could not continue to make this show because he was taking care of his father, and his father passed away very recently. And Pops was a guest on our show, a co-host for months, for like a little over a year actually. And but the last 6 months, Jay couldn't bring him up here anymore, and Pops was kind of fading out. Well, it's been several weeks now since Pops passed, and Jay just finally showed back up last night, and it was magical. It was like the early days, man. We were waiting tables and hanging out in the sponge docks in Greektown in Tarpon Springs, Florida, making fun of everybody, each other, just cracking jokes. And one day I was like, dude, we should do something. We should do like a video blog or a YouTube channel or a podcast or something like that. And this is back in 2014, 2015. And that's how we started the show. And now that he's back and coming around and everything, the magic has returned. You know what I mean? And last night's show was just a cry laughing. To answer your question, what were we talking about? We just did the same old bits that we done, 3 years ago. And it was, like I said, magical. It was hilarious, man. I was listening to it in the car on the way to work this morning. I was crying, laughing. With tears coming down my face. I was just laughing my butt off, man.
Now, are you critical about yourself when you listen back? Do you try to pick out the things you like and you don't like and say, I'm not doing that again? Because I know I am. I'm terrible about that stuff.
If you're not, man, if you're not doing that, or if you're not a little nervous, I take a nervous crap before every show. I'll go and I think I'm not even lying, man. I'll take a nervous poop right before we go on. But as far as critiquing myself or how I feel about it when I'm listening, sometimes I'm very proud of myself. I feel like I've come a long way, and other times I listen to myself laughing, and it's just I got this stupid cackling laugh that I feel like is so annoying, and I don't understand how anybody could listen with the way I laugh like that. But at the same time, it's man, it's a genuine thing. People are legitimately laughing genuinely because it's fun, and we're having a good time. So,
and you know very well that when you're coming across as a genuine person on the radio, that's when people like you the best. It's not when you're putting up this false fakeness as some of these guys you see in the media just trying to be like somebody else. When you're actually just letting yourself, your personality flow, that's when you're at your best.
John, you are 100% right with that, and you couldn't have said it better. Nobody could have said it better. And last night we had a very
I could have said it better, but I didn't.
I love Shady, man. He's an interrupting motherfucker. Pardon my French, sorry.
I knew a motherfucker. Wasn't that a hockey team in Canada or something? Motherfuckers?
Yeah. It was the Mother Canuckers, I believe.
Yeah, they had that Russian on there, something Andre Jackmeoff or something.
Yeah, I remember Andre Jackmeoff. If I'm not mistaken, he was a cuckold. I'm pretty sure he was a Canuckled.
Damn Canuckles.
Damn Canuckles, man. If you watched your wife get railed by another man that was a billionaire, and he was on, I don't know, maybe you watched it on Facebook Live, would that be Mark Zuckerberg?
Speaking of Zuckerberg and all those other guys, you hear they got rid of a bunch of sites today on Facebook. They just threw off a bunch of what they call fake news or spammers off their site. I was coming home and I'm oh boy, is my site going to be there? And my page was there, thank goodness. Oh, they've gotten me. Well, I mean, come on. I used to be able to invite like 800 people. Now I'm lucky to invite 20 people to an event. It's just stupid.
Bro, I saw that. They made it so difficult. Like, I was trying to tag people in a live video last night, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I got to type in everybody's name individually now, you know?
See, and they're using the fake news as the way, as the reason for this. But I'm telling you, you know what they were doing? This is for people like you and I who are just going to go, we need more listeners. We better start giving them $5 a week to get that promotion in there. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Twitter's the same way. They want you to promote your like an advertiser. They have an algorithm that's looking at it like an advertisement, and all of a sudden it's not getting spread out there. But if you want, you can take the option to boost it or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's so easy to tag everybody. And it's you're going to get so many listens and hits and blah, 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 blah. That's all they want, man. They just want the money.
So much bull. It's like they're going to legalize pot up here in Michigan, and it's all, if you look at the law, it's all about taxes. 10% on this, 10%. It's like, everything's about money, man. Like, leave us alone, please. Can you?
Yeah, you want to get your weed card, but you can't afford to get the weed once you get the card. You know what I mean?
So you got a bunch of burnouts all on the street going, homeless pot smoker, give me some money.
Right. I could just see you out there. We'll squeegee your windows it'll be shady. We'll squeegee windows for weed for my friend John. Oh man, I don't know, dude.
We'll work for weed.
It's messed up because, like, downstairs below the dump tower here, there's a company called True Leave that is a pot dispensary, but it's Florida law, so there's no flowers. It's just like vape, CBD oils, you know, that has the THC in it, but you have to have a medical marijuana card, and you have to be able to afford to buy the medicinal marijuana. I mean, you can't just like grow your own and say, well, I got a card, because you're not allowed to have a flower in Florida legally. You know what I mean? Well, there's places where they've decriminalized it, but you know, you can't just go into a pot shop like that and just say, hey, I'll take a half ounce of Kush, you know, whatever. It just doesn't work that way.
Coochie? What? Half ounce of coochie?
Coochie? Yeah, I'll take some coochie. I'll take a full ounce of coochie.
There you go.
16 ounces of that. Oh, yeah. Me and Shady and I should get together and go bowling or something, you know?
I like bowling. I almost had a 300 once.
Really? What happened?
I missed the last shot.
How, I mean, you go for that turkey and you're like, you know.
No, they shut the lane off on me as I was bowling.
That's racist. I mean, come on. Let the guy bowl. Just let him finish.
You know, we spoke about fathers earlier.
Yeah.
Not to get too personal, but, you know, my father just passed away as well.
I saw that. I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
No, nothing you can do, bro. You know, it's something we deal with in life. Yeah. But you and your father, how are you and your father?
Well, hold on. Rewind a second. Did you just say there's nothing we can do, girl? Did you just call me girl?
No. I don't think I said so. If it's in the recording, I'll make sure he takes it out.
No, amp it up so everybody can hear it in its glory.
Oh!
Ooh, hey, girl. No, man. It's funny you ask. My father just announced his retirement. He's 77, and I live next door to him. I live next door to my parents, man. I've come full circle. I moved 1,200 miles away twice, and now that I'm in my 40s, I had the opportunity to nestle in right next to him, and I took it.
Oh, man.
And I was talking to it's awesome, dude. Believe me, they get to see their grandkids, and my kids get to see their grandparents, and it's nice to be able to walk next door. And I know the code to his garage, and I open up the garage when he's not around, and I go in the garage fridge, and I grab a couple of beers, a couple of bottles of water, a couple of Gatorades.
What's the beer choice?
Oh man, my favorite would be probably some kind of a dark IPA. My dad likes really light beers, so he's usually got like Miller Lite or something like that. But I enjoy a nice dark beer. I like them dark, you know. I like them dark.
Once you go dark, you never go back, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're all beer on the inside, man. You know.
Right, all beer get you drunk. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't get drunk, man. I don't. I barely even get buzzed. I like
Really?
beer. Yeah, but I don't get wasted, man. I'm too old for that shit. Pardon my French. I'm so sorry. I'm too old for that. I have too many responsibilities to lose control of my body.
I tell you, I can't. I'm like 2 beers, and I'm such a lightweight, dude. It's
Are you
terrible.
serious?
Yeah, fat guy and all.
That's hard to believe, man. Like, I'm 150 pounds soaking wet, and
How do you stay that skinny, dude?
Dude, I got a pot belly like you wouldn't believe. I used to be like 165, and then I just started dropping weight, man. But it's because I haven't been working out and all that. I drink some beers, and I don't eat a lot, and I'm very active. I sweat a lot, so. But it sucks because I used to be very strong with broad shoulders and big biceps and 6-pack abs, and now I look like Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
So you look like I used to look. You don't even want to know what I look like now. I'm old and wrinkly.
But I've seen you in the overcoat, and it's hard to tell what you really look like. You just got this long overcoat, and you look like Inspector Gadget, but,
Da-da-da-da-da, Inspector Gadget. So now we're off the rails now.
Going off the rails, man. We were barely on the rails to begin with. Going off no rails.
So you've been doing this for 4 years. I mean, do you have any big aspirations? Are you pushing? How many stations are you on? That kind of thing.
We've been working up and down. I've never been.
I do that every weekend with that hooker down the street, up and down, up and down.
Story of my life, man. I'm in and out. No, man, we've got only quality affiliates right now. I've had a few approach me, and I checked them out, and I was kind of like, So we're on WBR FM, just like you guys. I believe you're on there. Am I wrong? I can't remember.
Which one?
WBR FM out in London, UK, Wigan Borough.
WRFN.
No, that's different.
Okay, no, I'm on WRFN 1025.
Yeah, no, we're not there. You're on GAG 109, maybe in Boston.
GAG 109, yes.
Yeah,
he just got it back up running because he was down for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I know.
I think didn't I like hook you guys up?
You're the one who referred me to them. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, thank you for that. Yeah,
no, that's cool, man.
Yeah. We're also my favorite, dude, and I feel one of the best ones that I've seen out there. And I've surfed, man. I've checked out different internet radio stations, which is a cool thing. I really think it's the future of listening. I'm not going to say it's the future of radio because everybody's going to have terrestrial radio. It's not going away. But the future of listening to me is internet radio. Because you have so much freedom and you can just bounce around and you can make huge playlists and you can refer back and forth. So I'm really proud of IRN, the Internet Radio Network. I'm so happy to be on there. I know your show is after my show on there.
Yeah, we're right next to each other. And Mike Peters is just the greatest guy in the world, seriously.
He is such a sweetheart. He really is, man. Emo Mike, dude. I swear I make him laugh to the point where he cries.
He does a great Bill Clinton. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, he does, He also does who's the other one that he does, man? Was it the guy that died recently that was paralyzed in the wheelchair? Stephen Hawking.
Is that awful? We're laughing. I'm sorry. Going to hell now. Damn radio host. We're going to radio host hell.
Mike does the best Stephen Hawking.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's cool, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be on stuff like that, and we recently got on Spotify, which was huge for me.
That helps out a lot.
Yeah, man, it's just cool. It's like, I've had guests come in here that are like open mic comics, and I'm not going to call anybody out because every comic I've had come in here has been fantastic and totally awesome, and either showcased or headlined or whatever. But there's been some open mic comics that I've spoken to. All they've done is open mics, which there's nothing wrong with that, man. They're up and coming, they're doing their thing. But they ask you a question like one specific guy was like, well, who's the most famous person on your wall of fame here? Who's the most famous person you've interviewed? And I looked him right in the eyes and I was like, I guess you, man.
Right.
I guess it's you. I mean, come on, what kind of question is that, man? Everybody's trying to get something. But, excuse me. for me,
They want to
personally,
think you're important. Otherwise, it's like
Yeah.
not worth their time, you know?
exactly.
I
I'm
gave,
like,
you know,
I'll
you're
just
braver
have
than
fun.
I am because I gave up on those people. I interview guys on our level, and I feel I'm going to help the little guy out. But continue on. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine, dude. No, I totally hear you. It's like, you know, you're right, by the way. They want to make sure that they're doing something that's worth their time, and they don't understand, that person, I should say, doesn't understand that I'm not doing it to help my career. I don't even look at it as a career. I'm doing it because I thought the dude was funny, and I want to hang out. Well, let's make some funny radio. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no prerequisite to it. You know, it's come on, man. You know.
Smoke them if you got them.
Because the John LeBang Show will be right back.
After this. That's guaranteed. Yes. Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning for a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Hey, man, you're listening to the John LeBang Show, man. That's good, because that means you ain't stupid.
But everybody's out for themselves these days, bro. And because of that fact, it's like, if you can't give me enough listeners, I don't think it's worth my time to be on your show, man.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of absolutism, but I don't think everybody's out there to better themselves. I kind of disagree with you on that, but I know what you're saying. It's like so many people. Most people are good, and most people want to just be a part of it and you know, help themselves out, help you out. It's a win-win when you do stuff like this, but there's every once in a while, man, there's that one person that's just like better than everybody, yet hasn't accomplished anything, you know, and it's like, I don't even want to think about, like, now I got to think about what I've accomplished now to justify this person's, you know, appearance on my show. Or
I know.
Come on.
Like I said, I've given that up. I'll have guys that are what I would consider my peers or bands that don't get a lot of pub. I you know, this is like my music hour. I don't play any national acts or any international acts. It's straight independent local music because the heck with the big guys.
You know, I like to mix it up, John. Like during my breaks, I take 2 breaks during my show. They're about 10 to 15 minutes long, and it'll consist of some bits and whatnot of prior shows or clips of the week or whatever. But it also is heavily influenced by music. And most of the time, I'm promoting the bands that are in the studio that night, so I'll play their music. Or I'm playing music for bands that we've already interviewed that might be playing the following week or whatnot. But I like to mix it up. I will play a national act once in a while because it's my favorite. And I want people to get that out of it. You know, like, wow, this is what Kevin likes. You know what I mean? So they get to know the host. I think that's kind of important, too. So here's one of my favorite songs, and I don't even say it. I just play it. You know, either you like it or you don't. And every once in a while, you get somebody that'll, you know, send a message in the Facebook page. What was that band? What was that song? You know? And we turn them on to something ridiculous like Pepper or the Dirty Heads, or you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I like that song. It makes my makes me tingle down below. You know, I've done 2 CD release parties for a band locally out here called Slingshot Robot, and
I play them on my show. They were like number 5 on my banger music charts last month.
Oh, dude, no way! I didn't know that. How about that, dude? That is fantastic news. Yeah, no, they're really, really good. And you know what's messed up is they're so nice. So they, you know, are everywhere around here locally. They're playing St. Pete and Tampa and Largo and Clearwater and Newport Richey and, you know, all these places. They had a regular gig at the Hard Rock Cafe out there in Tampa, the Seminole Hard Rock, you know. And, you know, supporting a band like that, they're the ones that are out there supporting other bands. You know what I mean? They're doing all the legwork, man. They're going out and opening for bigger bands or having smaller bands open for them or just being in a you know, an environment where 4 or 5 bands play and they're part of it. And sometimes it seems like bands like that don't get the support that they need. You know what I mean? Like they put out so much effort to support all their peers, yet they're not getting invited to different shows, or they're not getting booked from with bands that they've played with before that they've helped book shows with. And that's a huge thing, man, locally around here that I've noticed. I'm not involved in that business, but I've noticed it, you know. But that's the difference, bro, is between a good band that should be supported and just another band that's out there playing. The ones that still continue to get their own gigs, that still continue to play week after week after week in the middle of the week on the weekends. They don't need the help of the other bands. They don't need the help of some promoter that's fly-by-night, in and out, and he's been around for 6 months and you never hear from him again, steals half your money or books a show that, it promises so much and then none of it comes to fruition. Those guys are still killing it every week, So, I agree with you, man. Give back to the little guys. Not saying that those guys are little by any means, but those are the ones that should be supported, the ones that are out there every week, man.
Yeah, I think we relate to those bands a little bit better because we have a very similar struggle at what we're doing here because of the similar nature of the mediums there.
No, I agree with you on that too. And how much of an honor is it, dude, when another host of a show asks you to be a guest or do a liner or pays you to do a phone or a liner or something cool like that, I've never been paid to do anything with this in 4 years, never anything.
Well, I can send you some empty cans of beer. Is that good enough pay?
Hell yeah, man! I'll pick them up.
All right, I'll drink 6 or 7 tonight. Expect the check or the aluminum in the mail.
Oh, thank you. I'm surprised you said aluminum without stuttering at all, man. You just rolled right through that.
Oh, well, Shady's really good at these weird words and putting cool phrases together. I wanted to put a show together called Shady's Superfly Sexy Show, but John wouldn't let me.
Come on, John, let him do it. Superfly Sexy Show, man.
Yeah, but then we already have enough of this show. I can do 3 hours a week. Now I got to do another hour with him? Well, you don't have to do it. I can do it myself. In fact, people probably think my voice is more sexy than yours. What do you think, Kevin?
I'm on the fence with this, man. You guys are both damn sexy. I don't know, man. I mean, when you...
Yeah, but I got the deep voice. John don't have the deep voice. He's kind of got that nasally Canadian-American voice over there.
Yeah, but John's got that radio voice where you've got that raspiness to it. I want to hear you both say the word schmeckle, and then I'll decide.
Shady, you want to go first? Why don't you go first? I don't know. You go first. Fine. You're a schmeckle. Really? I think you're a schmeckle. Whoa, see, I can't even do it. I think you're a schmeckle.
You choked on schmeckle, dude.
Sometimes it gets a little deep, I knew a girl that would choke on schmeckle, but we shouldn't talk about that on this radio show.
Save it for the smooth, sexy schmeckle show. Now we're off the rails.
That's all right. So what else? Tell more people about your show. Like, what else have you been talking about on the show lately? Is there anything that's like hitting a hot topic, like the Me Too movement or something? Is there something really hitting you as personally?
No, nothing like that really is affecting me personally. I mean, I've been accused of Holly Weinsteining people before, but that's pretty much it as far as the Me Too thing goes.
He's going to get off, I think. I don't think he's going to. Have you been watching it? I think there's some holes in the case, and he might get off.
He's going to get off because of holes?
He poked a little hole, and he wasn't supposed to.
Dude, I was really proud last night. We had it's always funny, and everybody's joking around all the time, but we had a very serious phone call last night from a guy with spina bifida, and it's Spina Bifida Awareness Month. It's not just Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and adults with spina bifida don't really get as much, attention as, babies in the womb that might be able to be fixed a little bit before they're born with it. So you have all these adults out there who were born in the 70s and 80s that have spina bifida, and they've been living with it for years and years. And this particular gentleman, Paul Miller, called into the show. He's one of our original fans. He's been listening to us for years and years now. And, we had him on so we could just talk a little bit about the way that he's been an advocate for adults with spina bifida. He threw out a couple of links and different ways that you can be aware and support it and stuff like that. And it was a very proud moment to be able to use my platform to get a message like that out. It's not always about dick and fart jokes,
Right. In fact, I'm quite ignorant on spina bifida. What is that?
It's a tubular condition that you're developing it in the womb. where part of your spine, the tube that goes around your spine, and I'm no doctor, okay, but it doesn't completely close around it.
Doctor Feel Good. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll get you some weed, though. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I guess part of your spinal cord is not protected. Sometimes there's a bulging, like a sac that comes out of it or whatever it might be, and it creates a condition in its worst case scenario where you might be paralyzed. You might lose feeling in your legs and feet, things like that. You might have it's a spinal cord condition basically that you're born with.
Well, I appreciate you enlightening me because I felt really ignorant when you were saying that, and I'm like, I looked at Shady, and he's like giving me the shoulders, like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, I had to ask. We learned something here. If there's one thing that happens on the John LeBang Show, we learn at least one new thing every week.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is last night on the show, I actually wrote down for my friend Pat. Pat wants to do spoon boofia. Like, spoon boofia? What the hell is that, dude? It's a serious conversation we're about to have. Is spoon boofia? Anyway, I think he was just trying to talk sexy to me, but that's what happens when you're as famous as me, bro.
Is a spoon of boofia? Is that like when you're spooning your girl and she gives you the boofia?
No, it's when Pat wants to spoon a dude and boof him. Hey, man.
I think. Listen here. This is going in a direction that I don't want to be. I don't want to be a part of this. So I might leave right now if you guys keep talking about spooning the boofia.
I'm sorry, Shady.
He's old. He's old. He doesn't get the new, the newfangled language, and he doesn't like some of these new things. He hasn't gotten over guys wearing dresses yet, and that's all over now.
Yeah, I'm wearing a dress right now.
Is it a blue one?
I may have been wearing a blue one, and it's got a stain on it now, but I took it off, and now I'm just in them skivvies that you were talking about earlier.
I dated a girl named Monica once. She had a blue dress with a stain, too. I asked her where she got it. She said she was on the presidential staff.
Oh, man. I wouldn't blame her for that. I mean, if I was 22 years old in the Oval Office and, the president was like, hey, I'd be like, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, the current president. Hang on a minute. Stormy, come here. Hang on. Let me tweet about it. Hey, everyone. Big D here. Stormy's doing the wild thing with me. Hashtag huge.
Huge. I don't know if I could land a chick like Stormy Daniels, though. Although,
hey, if you have enough money, you can pay him for anything.
This is true. Yeah. Which I don't, so probably couldn't land her. But,
you have a girlfriend, though, or a wife? Wife, right?
I am engaged.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I got a couple of kids with an ex-wife. I'm divorced and, do my thing. Yeah, it's all good.
When's the big day?
So how about the Cubs, man? Big Cubs fan.
I'm a hockey guy, and since the Red Wings suck so bad these days, you got Tampa down there. At least you got the Lightning doing something. Our team sucks, man.
I am a very, very proud uncle. My niece has been a Lightning girl for 3 seasons, a cheerleader for the Lightning.
Really?
So, yeah, check this out. She tried out to be a cheerleader for a football team, and she broke camp, and then she got hired, so she moved to Lauderdale, and she's now a Miami Dolphins cheerleader.
That's awesome. Great job.
Really proud. Yeah, she's really, really good, man. It's cool. So she's more famous than me now, which is weird because I'm not really famous at all. But yeah, we have a famous person.
Definitely not going to be famous being on the John LeBang Show. This might bring your credibility down a few notches.
You can't go any more backwards from zero, okay?
Oh, there's the negative zone. Trust me.
No, man, this is the bump that I needed, man. What are you talking about? It'd be great. Man, I want to come up there to Detroit. Is that how you say it? Detroit?
Detroit. Depends on what part of town you're in. If you're in the suburbs like I am, it's Detroit. If you're in the city, it's more like Detroit. Come on down to
crazy shit going on here. You won't believe it. Shoot, you go down to 7 Mile. My sister be working on the corner. It's only $20 if you need it. She take care of you. Now, if you want some of that good burning wood, there be houses just 2 blocks over there, always on fire, babies.
It's not even Halloween, dude. That's funny because I was in Miami working a couple of years ago, and we were doing a sign job of all things. We were putting up the signs for the Northdale Police Department in Miami-Dade. It was what is that town that they burned down in the riots back in the late '70s, early '80s? It was part of Grand Theft Auto, the video game.
Compton. Compton.
Not Compton. Very similar.
Watts.
Anyway, I was there, and the contractors were like, "Don't go outside of the green zone." They call it the green zone because of the green fence that goes around the job site, you know.
Okay.
And I had to poop so bad, man, and it was so hot. So we were the only people there working besides a couple of landscapers, right? And I told my project manager, I'm like, "Look, dude, there's a Checkers across the street. It's like 10 a.m. They just opened. There's nobody around outside the green zone. I'm going in. I'm going to get us a couple of big sodas, and I'm going to poop in their bathroom in the air conditioning, and I'll be right back." And he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Dude, I got this." So I go straight to the bathroom, and I poop, right? I wash up. I go, and I get in line. I'm the first customer. And I'm like, "I would just like 2 large sodas, please." And the lady's like, "Okay." You know, and then, you know, at Checkers, like, you go to the next window, which is like a side step, and then you're at the receiving window, you know?
Right.
So I'm standing in front of the receiving window at this Checkers, about to get handed my beautiful giant, like 40-ounce sodas, and I feel this presence behind me. And I'm telling you, John Lebang, he must have been from Detroit. He's like, "Hey, man." And I'm like, "What?" And I look behind me, and this dude's shorter than Kevin Hart, right? And I look down at him, and he goes, "Hey, man." I'm like, I go, "What? What?" And he goes, "I ain't gonna stab you or nothing. I just need a couple dollars so I can get back on that bus so I can go see my children." Who greets somebody with, "I ain't gonna stab you or nothing"?
You must have been from Detroit.
That's what I'm saying, man. So I didn't have any cash. I made like $12 an hour at that job. It was so long ago, dude. You know, I was a little kid. I was like, I don't know. Anyway, so I was like, "I just have this debit card. Please don't stab me over it." Oh, man. It's rough out there, man.
So, Mr. Kevin Holly, why don't you give everybody, before you get on out of here, all your information, like your social media, website, all that, so they can check you out online, throw in any stations you want in that mix, and then we'll let you have the last word.
Well, thank you, John. Yeah, it's very simple. Everything is at kevinhollyshow.com. No, just kevinhollyshow.com. Also, Facebook / The Kevin Holly Show. We're on Twitter at Kevin Holly Show 4, and it's all HOLLY. We are on the IRN, and we are live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'd love to have you listen and call on the show. The phone numbers are constantly changing, but they're on the all the sites before every show, so there's always a number to call if you want to interact with us and hit us up in the chat room and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. My social is meat tagged under my bicep on my right arm in case I die in a war, so that my family can identify me. If you need my social, it's right there. It's a meat tag. It was an honor and a pleasure, as I sound like Ryan Hoppe for a second there. Bro, it was an honor. It was an honor, bro. No, seriously, man, I really appreciate all the love and support that you have given us over the last, I don't know how long. And, yeah, being on your show.
What, 3 days, maybe?
Great, man. Yeah. I'm gonna tattoo a T, a J, a B, and an S on my schmeckle, and when I become erect, it's going to say, "Welcome to the John Lebang Show." I love you, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It was my pleasure, for sure, dude.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll talk to you soon, all right? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We've run the clock dry again. I'd like to thank our guest, Kevin Holly from The Kevin Holly Show. If you missed part of the interview, feel free to go to our website, www.jlebang.com. It'll be right there, available all week for you to click on and listen to. Want to thank all of our affiliate stations, including our 3 new affiliates. And of course, thank you, my listeners, for joining me each and every week, giving me the support we truly need here in the John Lebang Show. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords meet your ears again, I'm John Lebang, signing off from the Banger Studios.